gonna go?
Beep,
Beep, beep, beep,
beep, beep, beep, beep,
beep.
beep, beep.
Wow. All right. I am going to put in a purchase order for a it's doing its best.
It's doing its best.
It's doing its best.
Yes.
I think we need something a little more John Blaze than this.
What the?
It's just I push the buttons and it takes a long
doesn't
time to
do
do
what it-
stuff,
what
and
you
then you
want.
do stuff, and then it's like. So I thought for the longest it was me, cause I'm like I just don't know what I'm doing.
No.
And now I tried to set up the button so it's foolproof, and I'm looking and I see, look at that. So I can click it now and it works. But if I'm somewhere else and I click it the way it's supposed to,
Not
it
so
might
much.
not work. It might do it, it might not do it. It's gonna look at me and with an apple or something and just be like, you wanna do what?
You are right. That's kind of what that thingy does.
Beach ball.
The beach ball.
So, you know, if Apple's watching,
Shout out.
is your computer.
Right.
Fix it.
Tell me why. Tell me why. Tell me why.
Tell me
And
why.
it's not like you don't have the budget.
Huh?
It's not like they don't have the budget.
Yes. There should be a Apple grant for people that use their stuff and is not working properly.
Right.
They give you the newer stuff with the problems fixed. Wouldn't that be a nice
That
world?
would be beautiful.
Oh.
I'm like, that'd be so beautiful. What is you talking over there?
Good morning, Stephanie. Stephanie just jumped on. Hello.
Stephanie.
Hello.
Gorgeous.
So what's the word? How was your evening?
You know, I had a very fun day yesterday, to be honest. It started off, I tried to do a whole lot of work. It wasn't, I mean, it worked out. I did what I think I did with everything I was supposed to do. But
Okay.
it was just one of those days. It was like, you can do it. You can do it. Just finish the flyer.
Did you finish it?
I did.
There you go.
It was just like, okay, I got it. I
Mission
did it.
accomplished.
It was accomplished, but it took a long time to do things that shouldn't have taken so long. So that was that. But then there was a moment when I guess other people stopped working, so they came over, and then I stopped attempting to try to work that,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And we went to Tucker's, and we went to a few places. I
Nice.
figured out karaoke is at on Tuesday nights at Dignity Hills, and I'm going to be there every Tuesday because I love
What
karaoke.
were those words you just said?
Karaoke.
But after that,
Dignity Meats.
what is that?
It's a restaurant on the east side. Dignity,
Dignowitty
which is the area,
meats.
and meats. Yes. So there's a lot of
Okay.
Dignity whatever in
Okay.
that area.
Oh,
you know what I'm
gotcha,
saying? 'Cause it's
gotcha,
called
gotcha.
Dignity. So yeah,
Dignowitty.
so we did that, and I don't know, it was fun. We had some shows here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Paul did his show last night, and Titty Tuesday did they craziness last night, and you know. it
Yeah, I think I
was
saw the remnants of Titty
of
Tuesday.
Titties Tuesday. It was. I mean, I'm telling you, there was a lot going on. I was like,
Yeah.
I am tired. So, but you know, it was interesting. It ended up being. I set up some people on a blind date.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
You playing matchmaker.
Yeah.
So what was that about?
It was good. I mean, you know, they were both like.
Were you present for the date?
I was present.
Okay.
Mhm.
And how did you feel it turned out? Was it worth the effort on your part to put them together?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe so. If anything, they could definitely be. I mean, they can be friends, right? It's not always about, oh, I met someone and they're gonna marry him.
Right.
But you've enriched your life because you have another great person.
There you go.
You know.
Yay! I was gonna say yay love, but maybe yay.
Yay, new friend.
Friendship.
Right.
Yay. People.
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 Yay.
Yeah,
So,
yay people.
So that was cool. But other than that, you know, it was a good day. It made me. But too bad I don't eat meat anymore.
Yeah, because we
Stephanie
talking about
says.
dignowitty meats.
It's smoked meat and barbecue. So during the day they have sandwiches, and at night they have barbecue. Yeah, and
Sounds
chicken.
good.
So it's cool. The guys, the people that own it, are from Austin, and they're graduates from college, so young folks, and they all got together and put their money together and opened up a restaurant.
Open up a meat shop.
So I think
Barbecue
that's
meats.
very cool.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Well, everybody, it is September, what is it, 19? I want to say 19. Yeah, it's September 19th, and it's going to be a beautiful day today.
Is it?
No
Is it?
rain,
Oh, yes.
none of that, nice and bright and sunny and not 100.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
I'm gonna tell you, because this rain got these mosquitoes out here being real disrespectful.
Yeah.
Just and in here, like
Yeah.
out there and in here,
And in here. And in here.
I'm like, what's going on?
I'm gonna go get one of those bzz,
Yeah.
and just hang it. Never seen one of those inside? You will now.
Right.
I'm gonna hang it right there. I'm gonna put it right here next to me.
Have you seen the tennis rackets?
Or between us.
Or the racquetball rackets? You can get them at Walmart, and I don't know why I still don't have one. But and they zip it, and you just swing it in the air, and it just kills whatever's. I need that in my life. I might try to hit a couple of people upside the head with it. But
imagine if they had one for like in a comb for kids coming home with lice or something like that. You just come here, go play. Imagine.
Yeah, the schools need that.
There might be some money in that.
I'm not, you know.
Nah,
did you ever have lice?
I'm not thinking it through. No, I never had lice. At least I don't think so. Ma, did I ever come home from school with that? I don't believe so. I think I would have remembered like getting dipped and having to get my hair cut and like shaved really.
Yeah, and shampooed 82 times. Luckily,
I don't have that problem now.
Well, luckily that's not the huge problem in the black world,
Nope.
the African American world. It's only two things I've got to hear.
No, man, no. That's the license across the board.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, you could, but no. I mean, for real. Like, I don't. How many black people you know with kids who got lice?
Oh, I don't know anybody personally that have lice now. I just see it on television all the time.
Well,
but all
school,
kinds of kids
because
doing bad.
I don't know what the whole thing was, but I remember my mom would always be like, "Well, you ain't gonna get no lice, but just stay away." I don't know if it's our hair or whatever, but it is. It's a thing. I mean, it's not. It's,
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah. Because I ain't never had to worry about lice, and believe me, I went to St. Mary's Hall, and them kids had lice all around me, all around.
I believe it. But I didn't know that it was like
yeah.
depending on what kind of hair.
Well, I have no idea. All I know is that all my life they were like, black people don't get lice, and I'm like, why we don't get lice? And I don't know if it's because of our hair or because of I have absolutely no idea. But I know I never got lice, and I know nobody I know ever got lice.
Okay, well, according to licedoctors.com, it exists. In This Exists news, according to licedoctors.com, head lice in African American hair can happen. No hair is immune to head lice. There is a misconception that African American hair, because it's coarse, is resistant to head lice. Lice do not care whether hair is smooth or coarse, thin or thick. Lice affix themselves to a strand of hair as a way to get up to the scalp to access their food supply, which is human blood. Right. Always check for lice in any hair.
It says African Americans do have a lower incidence of head lice.
Right. But nobody is immune.
But
so
no
don't think.
But
don't think you're gonna be out
here. So that's
here
where the root.
liceless.
That's where it came from, because we get it less. So, you know.
So it says the truth is,
less meant, black people don't get lice. That's where that came from.
We don't get that.
Because 1 out of 18 got it.
And then they looked at that one and was like, well, we don't need to talk about Jeremy.
Right. We don't get lice.
He's a special kind of boy. We don't talk about him. It says the truth is, though, that African American families do have a lower incident of head lice than other groups. The reason for this can be summed up in 2 words: oils and sheens.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Right? Many African Americans use these hairstyling products as part of their daily regimens. When hair is covered with products, it becomes more difficult for lice to actually adhere to it. Yep. The product puts a protective barrier around the hair, no matter what hair type it is.
So, now think about it. Wait, while you read, I'm sorry. Stephanie said, please stop. You're making my head itch.
Oh.
And the other
Shay just put in right there before I started reading, grease kills lice.
Thank you.
So are we saying that we got greasy hair?
This is why back in the day, in the 70s and the 80s, grease was a part of all daily. Like now I don't put no grease on my head. We put grease on grease the scalp, grease everything, and that was a daily thing.
My grandfather used to sit me down and was like,
and think about it. Think about. That's why I asked, because I know. The
like
Latin
I'm in the
culture
kitchen.
does the same too in many areas.
Yeah.
But think about the time of the Jerry curl. There wasn't no light sticking on them. It was like a water slide.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm gonna jump on here.
I'm gonna jump on here. Hey guys, everyone try. The year of the Jerry curl, there wasn't no lights with black people. That's when the rumor came out.
That's what it is in the
when
80s.
Jerry curl came, that was
like Michael
nah.
Jackson never had a single day. Never had no lice. That was him laughing at the lice.
Oh, that's so funny, man. Yeah, the year of the Jerry curl, lice died in African American
According to Maria Vielma Dominguez, she says that not baby oil, it makes it worse. So it's not about the grease necessarily.
We didn't say baby oil, baby. We
said
grease.
No.
Hair grease.
Right. But some people do put baby oil in their kids' hair to
That's not
soften
what black
it
people
and
use.
whatever.
They use it's a thing, and on the front it says grease.
Because we get the generic one.
And you put your hands in there, and it's a big old glob of grease. And
mine was green, and it smelled like peppermint, but it was grease.
It ain't no baby oil around here. That's like, we use baby oil instead of lotion.
So my grandfather used to do this to me all the time, right?
Skins.
So my grandfather used to take and put have this jar. Jars varied in size depending on how often you used it, right? Some people were like, no, man, you're just supposed to dab and do like this and then, you know, put it in your hair and then brush or comb or whatever. I was never a comber because that hurt. I'm not going to comb my hair. That hurts. But he would also then give me a wave cap. I'm 8, right? I'm 7. And he'd give me a wave cap, but not just any wave cap. My grandfather used to make his wave caps out of my grandmother's old nylons that she wasn't wearing anymore, right? So he would tell me, you got to put this on overnight when you're going to sleep. And you can get your waves if you want them, right? All in Spanish because he didn't speak a lick of English. But he would tell me, right? And so I would try this, but I was terrible at it, right? Because also we using this grease stuff with brushing my hair, and then but it's too long to really get a good wave. So what would happen is I would put the cap on and I go to bed, and then the cap would roll up on the sides a little bit, and so I'd have these 2 little bushies just next to my ear of hair that would stick out that wasn't wavy. And then just have the rest of it kind of like flat and wavy, but there's 2 little bushies right here looking like John Hancock from the 1700s.
Or did you just try to go?
Yes. No. Of course I would wash my hair, and I would, because you can't put grease on grease on grease. All right? You got to wash your hair when you take a shower every day.
Did you try it again? Did you try over?
No, man, I would try to trying to flatten the little bushies that would just come up because the wave cap would roll up. Like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I get this right? It was terrible. So then I just abandoned the wave cap thing. I remember thinking to myself, this is stupid.
I'm not doing this wave cap.
This ain't working for me.
I gotta wake up every day and do these 2 sides. I'm not doing this.
This is terrible. And sometimes the back too, it just be little bushies in the back. I'm just like, man, listen.
Well, this is why I don't wrap my hair at night, because I don't know how I sleep or how maybe I wrap my head, but it comes off.
And it comes off, yeah.
Through the night,
or it will come off. And then you have like little patches of wave.
Right.
And then some of it just be on some old.
How about we just not gonna wear this? Right.
Good morning. Am I sexy? Oh crap! And then you see it in the bed, like, I must not be sexy. What a terrible thing to. Again, I was 8, so it's not my fault.
Right.
As an adult, I just cut it off. Never mind. That's what it felt like.
So much easier.
Never mind.
So much easier.
Just never mind.
What are we celebrating today, darling?
Today,
I don't even know how we got on that, but that's
September 19th. The license thing and the wave caps. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Beach balling it. Today is September. I think I remember though. Today is September 19th, and we are celebrating two things today. Number one, we are celebrating. Oh my gosh. There we go. Talk Like a Pirate Day. That's what everybody does, right? When you talk like a pirate. Arr, me mateys.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out how to talk like a pirate, but I think my pirate is British.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. Lots of pirates were British, right? Because, you know, we talking about the 1700s, the 1800s. Yeah, a lot of them were British.
How do pirates talk, man?
Arr, ahoy there, mateys.
Ahoy there, matey.
Scaggly wags and whatever. They were very
Scaggly
seafaring.
wags and-
They were a seafaring bunch. I don't know any pirates that. Well, I mean, you know, obviously the television trope is what we're always looking at, right? Like, how do they do it on TV? But I'm pretty sure if you went back in time, not everybody's like,
I'm guaranteed.
Some of these guys might be like, hey, how you doing? It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, I guarantee it. That's
I'm
probably
a
the
pirate.
wild ones.
I'm Blackbeard. Nice to meet you. I'm going to put this gold in this hole over here.
And be done.
And then I'll come back and get it later if nobody kills me.
I don't know about talking like a pirate day, man.
Anyway.
I don't know.
It's Talk Like a Pirate Day.
We only know like 5 pirate type words.
And I'm not going to repeat that all day.
All day long.
I'm going to do it a couple times. And today is just the day you can't look at me funny.
Every time you look at me, I'm Yes, give me the phone. Yes, press play.
You got to roll. You got to roll.
I don't roll.
You can work on it. You can try.
I've tried all my life. I live in San Antonio.
Try it again. And if you put a high pitch on there, then you sound like the future car, like in the Jetsons.
Yes, you do. I'm not I don't know how to do that. I mean, just because
Can you do this?
Just because you look at me and go like this, don't make me. I can do it.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
All right.
Trying to help you.
It's easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you could do that. Can you go like putting the forward part of your tongue up against the roof of your
I can do that
mouth
without moving? No.
Just push air.
No.
Do it.
I can't do it.
All right, you're gonna practice, and we're gonna try again next week when it's talk like a.
Look at me. I'm like, no.
Talking like Latino Day.
And that's why I know I can't do it, because I've always tried to do the what I would call the Hispanic call. I don't really know how.
What's a Hispanic call?
I don't know how to do it, but it's like when we be out live music and stuff, and they be like, and I can't do it.
That's a Mexican thing.
Well,
like
whatever.
No, not whatever. I'm
Mexican,
learning
Hispanic
you.
is different.
Not necessarily. Mexicans are Hispanic or Latino, but not necessarily Latinos are Mexican, right? Right.
So, back to my point.
Okay. So it's that
it.
Mexican thing where they go, ah, yeah, you know, and they're like half crying, laughing, and then you know,
all that.
My wife does that,
There's
and I'm
a
looking
lot
at her
of that
like,
during Nyosa.
what are you doing?
A lot of that during Nyosa. A lot of that during anything.
Mexican, that's a party.
Anything.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've tried.
And you've tried, and you can't make it happen.
I've been born and raised here, so I'm telling you how many times I've tried. And I'll be like, hi.
And just leave it there, right? That's fine. You've participated, I think. I think you've participated.
Maria,
and I think
are
that
you
works.
trying to do it on the live?
Yeah, she rocked it. Look. She just didn't know how to spell.
Are you doing it on the live,
She's
Maria?
not sure how to spell.
That's
All
funny.
right. And today is also National Butterscotch Pudding Day. Shut-y. For those of you who enjoy a good butterscotch, and for those of you who like pudding and don't mind it when they're together, it is National Butterscotch Pudding Day today. So all you got to do is really go to your local supermarket, go to where that pudding aisle is. Maybe they have it already made. Like, okay, that's just gonna, yeah. Anyway, it didn't work. We tried something and it didn't work. So maybe it'll be in the already ready-made pudding section, you know, the Jell-O pudding section. They might have some butterscotch there. If not, go to the little powder thing, get the instant, put it together, chill for however many minutes, and enjoy some butterscotch pudding while you go and then smack, as long as
nobody else is around.
Nobody else is around. But it is not dressed like a pirate day, so don't get it twisted. Oh, wait, we've been looking at this pirate all of this whole time.
Just like a pirate.
Look at that. National Butterscotch Pudding Day. Looking like a orange neon margarita.
Butterscotch candy.
Yeah.
I love butterscotch liqueur. Pudding?
Yeah.
Not so much.
Nobody thought you were going to like it today. Nobody thought.
Not so much.
Okay, so, Should I tell you how to make a creamy butterscotch pudding? I give you a recipe real quick.
I mean,
Nobody cares.
Sure.
Does anybody care?
People
Think it'll be interesting?
I
You're not doing it, but if you want some butterscotch pudding, I'm gonna try to give you a recipe. Maybe if I minimize this, it would help.
It would help a little bit.
Anyway, big shout to Glow, who is watching right now. Emmanuel Torres, love you, cousin. Thank you for coming through. This is taking a long time, so I don't think I want to do it. I don't think I'm gonna be.
I got you a recipe.
I'm not a
get
fan
some vanilla,
of
vanilla pudding and throw some butterscotch candies on it.
That is not okay. Because what she wants to do is come over, have some, and then take all the butterscotch pieces. And just go.
And no, I'm gonna eat the butterscotch pieces.
And then throw away the pudding part.
Yes.
Now we get to the crux of it. She doesn't like pudding. It's the pudding part.
Big
So if you want Nika to definitely not come to your party, serve pudding with walnuts in it.
Throw some nuts in the food.
She ain't coming. She ain't coming. She's gonna be like, no. None of that dessert is for me if I do come, and then if you want like cake with nuts different, just put some.
Yeah, throw some nuts on everything.
And then theme it Halloween snakes. She might not talk to you anymore, like ever in life. Maybe not. Okay, so if you want to make some great butterscotch pudding, all you need is a half a cup of packed dark brown sugar. Love it. 2 tablespoons plus 2 teaspoons of cornstarch, 1/8 teaspoon of salt, 2 cups of fat-free milk, 2 egg yolks lightly beaten, 1 tablespoon of butter, 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract. That sounds like a lot of stuff, though, right?
It does. It does. Where's the butterscotch?
It looks like there's only 2 steps for it, though. I think the cornstarch with the extract. Okay, so in a small saucepan, combine the brown sugar, cornstarch, and salt. Add milk and egg yolks. Stir until smooth. Cook and stir over medium heat until the mixture comes to a boil. Cook and stir 1 to 2 minutes longer or until it's thick. That's when you start seeing your pudding getting thick. Remove it from the heat. Stir in the butter and the vanilla. Butter and vanilla. Cool it to room temperature, stirring several times. Pour it into 4 individual dessert dishes. Cover and refrigerate for 1 to 2 hours or until chilled.
And that's
Done.
how you make pudding.
Now you can rewind this later and make a direct your pizza to your refrigerator for some butterscotch love.
I guess I haven't made pudding or Jello or any of those things in a long time.
All right, here's how you make a kale salad.
I don't want to eat that either.
Well, what do you eat? Here's how you make
chicken pizza.
I knew I liked you.
I
knew I liked you. You don't like stuff, but you like the right stuff.
I like the right stuff. I like stuff. I do. Oh,
very cool. So that's what we're celebrating today.
Now we're looking at Kavanaugh, and now we're looking at.
We could look up there. Oh, my bad. Okay, so what do you want to talk about? There's so many things. You want to talk about fun stuff?
I say we just go down the list and be like everything that went on the last 24 or 48 hours.
We can't do that.
It's too much stuff.
It's too much stuff. And I have to go at 10.
Right. Okay, right. And so we got 30 minutes. All right, let's talk. Let's just start with funny stuff.
Fun stuff. Okay, very cool. Do you like Eddie Murphy?
Of course.
Well, Eddie Murphy is currently making a biopic about Rudy Ray Moore, right? But it turns out that Eddie Murphy is going to be starring in the reboot of the film franchise Grumpy Old Men. So they're going to reboot that film franchise. Initially, it starred Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon back in the days. Then in the 90s, it was kind of brought back. The same 2 characters were brought back in grumpier old men. Basically, these guys are just like, what do they do? They're kind of like fighting for the affections of another woman, kind of thing. But they're best friends, right? They're best friends. They're just crotchety kind of old guys.
They make me laugh.
Yeah, so they make me laugh too. So Eddie Murphy has signed on to be one of the grumpy old men in a reboot. We don't know yet who will be the second grumpy old man or who's going to be the lady that they're going to be fighting over the affections of. Before it was like Sophia Loren. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
with those Walter
But they
Matthau
were,
and Jack
to
Lemmon.
me, they were a little bit older and more grumpy. Is Eddie Murphy looking that old? He's not
No,
looking too
he's
old.
not. He's not looking too old. It's makeup.
Oh, they'll put makeup on him.
Unless they do like, well, how is Eddie Murphy? How old is Eddie Murphy now? He's got to be like 60, right?
Yeah, but he just don't. Well,
He's
I don't
gotta
know
be
what
60
picture
by
that
now.
is, but he just doesn't look that.
No,
old.
no, he certainly doesn't look this old.
Not like the grumpy old men that were in the reboot
Right.
of the grumpy old men. Like they got
Right.
wrinkles. Like they old school.
Okay,
old.
so he's 57 right now.
Oh yeah.
And
so
he's 13 years younger than the 70 and 75 that Lemon and Matthau were, respectively.
Yeah.
So, but I'm sure, he's played old man before, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
sure it's going to be throwing on some
That's-
makeup
that's
and just.
And if it's not makeup, I mean, I don't know if I think you got to put some kind of makeup on him.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
He's not going to let that hold him back.
Well, just because he's too young looking. How you gonna be
Right.
a grumpy old man and you look 52?
Yeah. Yeah.
You look 48, man. Yeah, I don't know.
48. Like, what are you doing? You look 40.
Right.
But yeah, so I'm sure there's going to be some makeup involved. I'm sure it's going to be hilarious. And I just wonder who's going to be the other, obviously the first kind of people that come to mind and people want
Wonder
to
who
see
was
him
Martin?
again, Martin Lawrence, and because they did very well in Life together and they had their prosthetic makeups on and stuff like that later in the film. But who else could it be? Maybe him, maybe Chris Rock. I'm just thinking era, right? So Chris Rock is a bit younger though. Who else? Who would make another great, or maybe an act? Why does it have to be another comedian, right? Just another actor.
I was gonna
great
say,
actor.
or or
Idris.
they would-
Imagine if Idris was in there. Like,
Nah, he
look,
wouldn't.
man, don't come around here trying to take my girl.
I ain't grumpy because I'm
I
still
ain't
sexy.
grumpy.
And he
Well,
don't-
they're both good-looking guys too, right?
No, not next to Idris. He's not. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Eddie yesterday news next to Elba.
Idris Elba, I think, is
not even a
it's probably about 10
competition.
years younger too. How about what if it was Grumpy Young Men?
Okay, that makes no sense.
Elba and Momoa.
Who's Momoa?
Jason Momoa.
Oh,
Aquaman.
Jason
Aquaman.
Thank you, Aquaman. Yeah, he's.
So imagine those two
I'm like, yeah, he's.
in like just grumpy dudes.
How about we just call it dudes?
So let's make it.
They ain't got
We're
to
not-
be
we're
grumpy.
not.
Let's just call them dudes.
Just
Hello.
call them dudes.
Hello. That's what I'm gonna call it.
Hello. Hello. What's your name? All right. So look out for grumpy old / maybe older men coming out soon. Actually coming out probably in a year or two.
You're right.
While they make it. In the meantime, he is making a biopic about Rudy Ray Moore right now. So that should be cool. Either way, you're going to get new Eddie Murphy greatness on screen.
I like biopics.
really soon.
I like it.
I do too. I think they're great. Okay, so another fun one, right? What is your hangover cure?
I don't get hangovers. Like hangovers, like
Okay,
from liquor?
show's over then. Thank you. Help me out here, man. We're trying to have a conversation.
I don't get hangovers.
Okay, so what would you say would be a hangover cure? Do you know people that get hangovers? Are there anybody
Well,
that you've ever seen with a hangover
forget, I've gotta help
and
because
told you
he doesn't
a
drink.
hangover cure?
Okay, so the
Now
only
she's
thing
gonna
that
try
I
to
know,
sober shame me.
right? I'm gonna say right. He never gets hangovers. He won't even drink. What gives you a
I
hangover?
got cake hangovers.
Stephanie says menudo. Okay, so I'm gonna say Bloody Marys.
What is menudo? What is? I know
don't
it's
know.
a. Stephanie, tell me what menudo is. Is that?
a soup or something with stuff in it?
Is it?
I think so. I don't know. I don't know menudo, baby. Tell me what it
Nicole
is.
says getting pregnant was my cure.
Nicole is hilarious. I'll never drink again.
So what is a
Bloody
good hangover
Marys.
cure?
So what I know of, and what I know is, if you wake up and got a hangover or whatever, drink more.
Okay.
Right. So you drink some more.
Hair of the dog is what they call it, right?
balances your stuff back out, and then you can get back. Woo-woo. Right. But so like a Bloody Mary. Is a good hangover drink to have the next morning because that tomato juice gives you a lot of vitamin C. Get a V8, that kind of thing.
Okay.
That's all I know.
Okay.
That's all I know.
So a girl after my own heart, Jessica Biel. Was at the Emmys and after parties, and she got a hangover the next morning, yesterday morning, I guess,
Jessica.
right? So she apparently stayed home all day and had cake.
This is why he found this so interesting.
That is her. That's how she gets into hangover cures.
Why
She's
does
like,
that does not look like Jessica Biel.
I mean, you know, after a long night of partying, and let me get up and jump in the shower and just have a handful of cake and put it in my face.
Like, honestly, that looks a completely different person.
Well, that's her.
Wow.
So she decided to post a picture of herself, hoping that the cure for her hangover will be this big hunk of cake.
Yeah, that's not it.
And then later she proceeded to post another selfie of herself. Selfie of herself. That's I shouldn't have said that. Anyway, another selfie, calling it "Portrait of a Hungover Woman Who Had Cake for Breakfast."
Yeah. So go back up.
Again, a woman after my own heart. Right here.
Yes. Good Lord. It's
cake
amazing
picture?
when you wake up and it ain't right? She is, because I've always thought Jessica was like just the most cutest
She is. She's
thing
adorable.
in the land,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So when you said, I was like, that don't look like no Jessica.
Jessica Biel.
Right. But still.
Justin Timberlake's wife.
Right.
Not
Jessica
Alba.
Right.
Billionaire,
but she's still
whatever.
but she's a cute.
She's adorable. Yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
Fine. But that's just. And it's not on yet, right? You're good. Okay. So anyway, next time you get in the hangover, try some cake. It might have worked for Jessica Biel. It might not have worked for Jessica Biel.
Get you a Bloody Mary.
I would like to believe it did.
Yeah. So Stephanie says that her husband drinks, fiance drinks a beer with
Clamato.
Clamato, which is like a
clam and tomato juice.
Yes. That's what y'all make your meat them thingies out of. Them thingies. Y'all know what you drink. And I'm saying y'all because I don't drink that.
Right.
Because I don't. That's the one thing I ain't taking your sip of. Like, you good,
Right.
boo. Don't you worry about it.
Right.
You get to have that whole drink.
Oh my gosh. I couldn't. Would you like another one?
Micheladas. Thank you, Stephanie. I couldn't think of the freaking thing for the life of me. Micheladas.
I'm learning a lot about Mexican culture today.
Let me tell you, micheladas, look, I hate to say it they, right? Because then it's like you people. I don't like the way that sounds. I don't like the way that sounds. But you people, be loving them micheladas. When I bartended, and it was always like, when it's busy, and you're the only bartender, and you just want people to get a beer, or a bourbon and Coke, or a vodka tonic, right? No, you want to meet you. So now I got to go get the juice and the beer and do the rim and squeeze the lime and find some olives and do all this stuff. Why you can't just have a Coors Light?
Right.
Don't you just want a Coors Light? Like, give her some Dos Equis. Golly, no.
I'm going to need you to do your job.
Yes. So that's my babies do that. And then, of course, my black folks come in there and they want a Bloody Mary or some kind of margarita, some kind. Then my old people want an old fashioned. Look, man, all these drinks take way too long to make. I'm going to need y'all to come with the simple. Like, I need the simple, man. Come on.
I'm gonna get this eventually.
Well, who's this? What happened? Ooh, update.
Yeah, we got an update. If it would allow me, if it would be so kind as to let me. Anyway, yeah. So there is a bit of an update to the Julie Chen story that we were talking about yesterday, right? So if you guys weren't listening yesterday, real quick, Les Moonves was accused yet again by this time 6 women who came forward over sexual harassment. At this point, after being kind of not let off the hook, but being allowed to keep his job the first go around after the first round of allegations. Second round of allegations was just too much, so he was asked to step down as the chairman of CBS. Julie Chen, his wife, has kind of been trying to figure out what she's going to do, right? So she decided to stay as the host of Big Brother, but she is leaving the talk. And yesterday, she wasn't on the show live, but she did have a recorded message that they played at the end of the show, and I want to play that for everybody.
Like
well, hold on a second now, because you know how this be.
Right.
working.
Allergies with
The
Nope,
excitement.
that is not it.
The excitement of waiting.
I guess we'll wait another 25 seconds, maybe.
Is that how long the commercial break is?
Yes. So, we just gonna sit here and wait.
I mean, we gotta.
But I mean,
if we
you can-
start something else,
We
then
can say something
if we
about it.
if
Like,
we
we
start
don't
a
have to.
different thing,
We just gonna
mean,
be quiet
I
while
mean,
we wait for it.
might as
We don't have to
well.
be quiet about it.
It's time.
Like, why are you
boom,
not
boom,
talking?
boom, boom. Ready. It's ready.
All right. So thank you to TMZ. I think.
As we all know, Julie has not appeared on The Talk since we premiered last Monday. Moments ago, she recorded a message for everyone from the set of Big Brother, where she's working on tomorrow night's show. We are all about to hear this message for the first time. Let's roll it.
I have been at The Talk since the day it started 9 years ago, and the cast, crew, and staff have become family to me over the years. But right now, I need to spend more time at home with my husband and our young son. So I've decided to leave The Talk. I want to thank everyone at the show for the wonderful years together. I will always, always cherish the memories we shared. Most important, I want to thank you, the viewers, for allowing me into your home every day. It was a privilege that I will forever be grateful for. To everyone behind the scenes, I send you my love. I will miss you all very, very much. To Eve, you're the newest one at the table, but I feel like I've known you forever. You are even more beautiful inside than you are on the outside, if that's even possible, because you know I think you are flawless. Cheryl, thank you for being the perfect go-to partner for the last 7 years. I open, you close, and you always bring down the house. We called ourselves the bookends, remember? And we always laughed when we said it to each other. Your wit and timing and humor and compassion and intelligence is simply unparalleled. You are incredible. Carrie Ann, I don't know, but in my opinion, you look awful good sitting in that chair, my Asian sister. I'm just saying. And finally, to Sarah and Sharon, we've been together since day one at The Talk. I've spent every day with you both. I will always treasure our friendship, the great parenting advice from both of you, and the memories and laughs and all the private jokes that the three of us have shared. We are the original Three Musketeers. I love you all, and I know this show and the sisterhood it stands for will live on for many, many, many more years to come. You ladies got this, and I cannot be more proud to call you my friends. I love you.
There you go. And there you go.
First of all, thank
Lots
you
of crying,
so
lots of
much,
everything.
Julie, for the kind words.
Do you want to?
I created this
Okay.
show
Because
as
I
a
was like-
place for friends to come together, and I know I speak for all the hosts when I say we thank
there she
you
is.
for 8 years of dear friendship and for all that you did to contribute to the success of this show. We love you, Julie, and to all of you, thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow.
And there you have it. There you
I
have
love
it.
sentiment and realness.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I'm going to go over here and spend these millions of dollars real quick and just hang out and still be on Big Brother and still be, you know, she still has a career.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of what she wants to do now,
And,
right?
it makes sense because, like she said, that she needs time. She needs to spend more time at home with her family and her kids because obviously her kids are probably getting it at school or, you know, people asking questions and this and that. And you got to make sure that you continue having a loving surrounding for them.
Yeah.
And the thing about doing talk shows like The Talk, it's news and it's current stuff. So what most people probably don't realize at home is, yeah, their show might be an hour at 3,
Right.
but they get there at 10 or 9. You know what I'm saying? And they're prepping.
that's work.
They're prepping for their show throughout the day, and then of course when you get off, you might take a little bit of a break, but there's more prepping that goes on. Like, you know, even in on the morning shows like on television and anywhere else, there's before time and after time. It's not just that hour that you see.
Right.
So it makes sense that when she says I needed to take more time for the family, because you spending a good 4 or 5 hours probably during the day just to get material for the next morning. The next morning show. That's time that you could be at home. And
well, with some of these people, yay and nay.
Yeah.
Right. So depending
on how big they are,
depending on the level. Right.
Yeah.
So with a show like The Talk, 7 years in, I'm pretty sure it's down to a kind of like a groove. Mm-hmm. And there's multiple producers per host.
Right.
That are
that
working behind the scenes to give you the information, and really it's just up to you to come in early enough to read
prepare.
And be prepared. Just
and
okay,
make it sound like it's your own and not like someone else done wrote it.
Exactly. Or to be able to, somebody is going to write something for you to read on the teleprompter, but when it's over, the discussion part, you have to know what you're talking about. And if you decide not to read, that's when you notice the people on that panel who are quiet were the ones that aren't prepared.
Yeah,
they're just like, I don't know anything about this. Let me listen.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But for the most part, at that level, there's multiple producers and multiple stuff. You just have to come in early enough to just read your stuff and be like, I didn't know this. I didn't know this.
You can't come in early enough for makeup and hair and clothes. And
there's also production, right? There's also production meetings. So before that, even there'll be like a big kind of early morning or a day pitch meeting where everybody comes in and says, you want to talk about this? You want to talk about this? You want to talk about this? And sometimes they do that during hair and makop instead. Right? Instead of like a formal kind of thing.
So they can
it shaves hours out of the day also for,
But it's
rich famous people.
Exactly. Because there's more than just sitting. It's more than just sitting in the chair and looking at a TV screen.
Absolutely. You definitely have to be, got to be prepared. Okay, so that was our update to the Julie Chen Big Brother thing, and I guess Carrie-Ann Inaba is in that chair. I think she's permanent.
Who is that? I don't know who that is.
Carrie-Ann Inaba is currently really, really big for being. I think she's one of the judges on Dancing with the Stars, right?
Okay.
She's a famously held choreographer, dance choreographer, and personality now and stuff like that.
Got you.
What I didn't realize until just a couple of years ago, seeing this woman and she really coming into her own and hosting stuff and doing things, she was one of the dancers on In Living Color back in the day. So I remember because in Living Color I used to watch, and then at the time, people used to watch for the moves, for the dancing, for the whatever, and you would see, and the girls were gorgeous too, right? But they were also, great hip hop dancers and stuff. You didn't see a lot of that on television on a weekly basis back in the 90s. So I remember Keenan Ivory Wayans used to introduce all the dancers that were, at the end of the dance routine at the beginning, before they walked off during his opening monologue. He was like, "Oh, say hello to such and such, Jennifer," because Jennifer Lopez was one, Carrie-Ann, but he used to only say the first names. And then when they said she used to be on In Living Color, I remember Carrie-Ann was always one of those dancers. Carrie-Ann. I didn't realize that it was that Carrie-Ann.
Ow.
See, dancing can take you places. It's amazing.
Well, it's about being on the scene.
Yes.
Right? So it doesn't matter. I used to tell people all the time, especially when I worked at the other radio station. They're like, "Man, how do I get on?" Well, it's not that easy, right? They don't just it ain't that easy to come and try to get a show or whatever. I don't care if you got a degree or if you just think you good or whatever the case may be. It's not that easy. But if you get in the door, you can work your way up, through, around, and everything else, because you start building relationships, and building relationships is the key.
Yep.
So I don't care when they say go in there and sweep some floors, that's what they mean. Get in the door. So when you sweeping floors and one day they say, "Oh man, so-and-so just walked out and quit. We need somebody to..."
Right here.
I'm here. I want to do it. I
drop
got it.
the mop
Drop
and
pick up the microphone or pick up
mic.
whatever the next thing is, that they need. And then you go and I used to always tell people, "Well, in your spare time, ask questions. Go to people's office. How do you do this? How do you do that? How do you do this?"
Right.
Build relationships, learn things. Next thing you know, you'll have the opportunity.
There it is.
So it's like if you have a way to at least get in the door, get in the door.
Get in the door. Get in the absolute door. Okay. Did you used to love Sesame Street like so many kids in this was like I did? I loved Sesame Street.
I want to say that I love Sesame Street. I don't
Okay.
know who my favorite characters were in Sesame Street.
You don't know.
I don't know. I don't remember.
You don't remember. Big Bird?
I did like Big Bird. I liked Snuffleupagus.
Yeah.
I liked him.
Snuffleupagus.
I liked
Yeah,
him.
I like Snuffleupagus.
I think
too.
I liked
The big eyebrows. Eyelashes.
Garbage Dude.
Grover.
I think I liked Grover too.
Was that Grover?
Because he just always popped out.
Groucho.
Yeah.
No, not Groucho.
No.
Grover. It was. Which was the blue
Started
one?
with a G.
Where's the blue one?
I don't know. Who's the blue one? I'm like, who the blue one?
Near, far. Oh my gosh.
I like the Count.
It wasn't.
One.
Yeah, Oscar the Grouch.
Two.
Oscar the Grouch.
Oscar
Thank
the
you,
Grouch.
Stephanie.
And
Oscar the Grouch.
three. I like the Count.
The Count.
The Count,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was just the Count.
We gonna count the number of the day.
I
like
Three.
all
Cookie Monster.
Cookie Monster.
Because I love
was
cookies.
crazy.
So Cookie Monster.
And I
was-
always like tried to figure out where the cookies went because when he opened his mouth, it was nothing but black, and he would stuff them in, and then they would just fall on the side.
Right.
And you'd be like, "You're wasting the cookies."
That was the point. There's nowhere for them to go, right? You scrunch them up and then break them apart in the Muppet, and then it just falls.
And it just
and it
fall
kind of,
out.
for little kids, you don't know. You're like, oh, he ate the cookie. How did he eat the cookie? He wasted so much cookie, but then he finished it.
You
Like that was a
wasted
big
all the
cookie.
cookie, man.
Yeah. Every cookie was wasted, unless they fell into a bowl beneath. At which point, then you wouldn't, but then you put a little milk and then
Oh my gosh.
cookie
What's
cereal.
really going on?
Cookie Crisp, right? That's where they got the idea for that.
What's going on with the Muppets?
All right, there a little bit of a controversy over the past couple of days, because
Do they want to make one of them gay or black or?
you are almost on the right track. Almost. So there was
saying.
always a bit of a controversy trying to figure out whether or not Bert and Ernie were gay.
Oh.
Okay?
Okay.
People always kind of whatever you watch, people always put their own kind of thing, experiences, life things on whatever they're watching, right?
Right.
They bring their experiences to the movie or the television show or whatever and try to relate to what they're watching from their own life experiences. Well, a few days ago, one of the ex-writers for Sesame Street was in an interview, did an interview, and he said,
I'm like, I don't even want to know.
I'm sorry. He said, I always felt that without a huge agenda, when I was writing Bert and Ernie, they were gay.
Huh.
Right? But he's bringing his own life experience
Is he
to
gay?
his writing. He is gay, and his partner passed away in like 2003. But during the interview, he's basically saying, I always kind of wrote them
Gay.
like they were gay, right? But without this massive huge agenda in my mind, while I'm writing, they're gay, right?
It
that they
basically
were
was
gay.
me and it was him and his
It was
dude.
him and his partner. He's bringing his life experience to his writing, right?
Right.
So in his mind, as he wrote them like that.
Right.
But it turned into a huge firestorm of people happy, people mad, controversy left and right, especially over social media, Twitter, the whole like. His name is Mark Saltzman, and basically even the Children's Television Workshop had to put out a statement like, look, they are not gay, they are Muppets, and they are asexual, right? Because these are puppets, guys. Like, there's no sexuality on I mean, depending on who you talk to, you know what I mean? There's some dolls out there that there are people of certain persuasions that just enjoy to enjoy.
I'm just saying.
However, the Children's Television Workshop was like, they're Muppets. They're asexual. There's no sexuality to these Muppets, right? They're Muppets. Calm down, everybody. So then he put out a statement. Mark Saltzman put out another statement. He was like, wait. I never said that Bert and Ernie were gay. I was saying that when, as writers, you bring your life experiences to a thing, and there's a lot of similarities between Bert and Ernie, other than sexuality, and me and my late husband, right? The idea is that how opposites can live together and still love each other, right? And it's like, and that's, if you ever watch Sesame Street, that's
what
Bert and Ernie.
Ernie-
Complete opposites, but they're
they get
still
along.
friends, and they get along, and love is love, and, they teach kids, and the best of friends, even though they're complete opposites. And he was just bringing his life experience to it. So when he's writing, in the back of his mind, he's writing about him and his husband, right? Two gay men who are complete opposites and yet found a way to love each other. And that's all he was saying. But the world was like, no. And then some people were like, yes, finally.
I knew it.
I knew it. Yeah, no. Everybody is saying, calm down. Calm down. I mean, some people even tweeted like, it's official. Like,
it's official.
It was not
gay.
It was not.
So that's funny. I mean,
official.
but you know that, like, hey, I just say, you know, it just
oh my God.
So this is the thing that gets me. When somebody was probably saying, like, Bert and Ernie, man, they like really seem gay. You know what I'm saying? Like they were really feeling like that's what they were getting off of Bert and Ernie, and people were probably telling them, you crazy. Wait, that's not what it is. Oh my gosh. This is the people that said, it's official.
Yeah,
These are
right?
those people, right?
Maybe.
That are literally arguing or trying to say, because the way I see this is they probably see similarities in their relationships as well. If you're in a gay relationship, they might see the same similarities that the guy wrote about.
Maybe.
We're not all that different in the world.
But
you know what I'm saying?
to continue on the point, it's people are bringing their experience to what they're watching.
So the gay couple that's saying, man, they really resemble us. And so they're telling them, nah, these guys are gay. I'm trying to tell you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
To me, that's where it becomes funny to me, because I feel like people get that stuff from their personal experience.
Yeah. Stuff
that's really happened to them. So why are you going to tell them that what something's not if that really happened to them and they gay? Right?
Huh?
So somebody can say,
this guy's stupid. Okay.
Look.
I didn't mean to be.
Look,
I don't understand.
Zay.
Yes.
Just do it.
No, okay. So
You
you're
know what I'm
basically
saying?
you're saying that you can't to somebody who sees the similarities between Bert and Ernie and their lives. Bert and Ernie are gay in their household. To somebody else who just has a roommate, and my roommate is not
gay
only,
just like me and my roommate.
Or no, not you. Gay just like this couple. Or if you're watching, depending on your point of view, if you're watching it and you just have a roommate who's a mess or who's always annoying you while you're trying to read, or
but you're still best of friends.
But you're still best friends. They're not gay. They're you and your roommate. Right. So depending on your perspective,
on the perspective, that's how it's going to come.
That's how it's going to be.
But people are going to tell somebody how their perspective is wrong. Right? Oh no, you wrong. They not gay or whatever. You stupid. You silly. Meanwhile, the guy comes out 20 years later and says, "Well, I was writing from my experiences.
Right.
And I'm a gay man.
Right.
Ding. Right. So that's why those two couples saw the similarities. Is all I'm saying. Not saying that they're gay, but that's where you got it from, because you're seeing the similarities. You see.
So
the
you
same
think
thing.
you think that the writing skewed gay, and that's why people saw the gay similarities, or just the situation? Like, it's too. I mean, look at Bert and Ernie for what Bert and Ernie are.
I would
right?
say,
It's
I don't know.
Roommates who, it's like the Odd Couple.
Yeah.
Right. So they're kind of the odd couple for kids.
Right.
So do you think that during the term that a gay man was writing for them, that people saw it more than when a straight man or woman was writing for them?
Yes.
You think so?
Yes.
I don't know.
And the only reason why I say that is because usually, if I'm seeing something and I see something, and I just learned this year, like recently, look at the author. And it makes sense when I go back and I see that stuff and I say, okay, well, who told me that, or who wrote that, or who whatever. Right. Those similarities were that because they wrote the story or they put it out there. Mm-hmm. So it makes sense. It all makes sense to me. This is not a right, wrong, or indifferent anything. It just makes sense to me. If you write something and it's in a puppet, I'm gonna see you. I don't care if it's a puppet. If I know you, I'm gonna see you in that puppet. Okay. If I'm a puppet, my puppet's probably gonna grab some booties. You know what I'm saying? Because that's me. So regardless of it, it's still that. So I do think that, yeah, because of who wrote it, that's who you see it, because they're doing the life experience, and this is what happens, and yeah.
Okay. So you think it leaked out, so to speak?
Yeah.
Like his personal was a little too much.
And it's not too much.
Not too much.
It's
it was just out there,
personal.
and then
that's what it is.
And that's how people picked it up.
And because it's not something that was back in the day, something that was accepted by everybody, right? Like again, he wasn't. I don't think he was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make these guys gay. That's not what's in his head. It's,
right.
I'm gonna make. Okay, we got Bert and Ernie. We got these two guys. I'm writing these experiences.
Right.
But if it was nowadays, it would have been easy to say that it comes from the experience of me and my married man.
Right.
It would be out there, and it wouldn't be that big of a deal because it's accepted now, for the most part. You understand what I'm saying? Right. Where back then, again, I'm not saying that I can see what he's saying, but I know I feel like if it was back then, if it was accepted more, he'd have been like, yeah, this is like me and my man.
What do you mean back then though? This is new stuff. Like they're still on the air.
No, I know.
New episodes every week.
How long has he been writing? Bert and Ernie?
Oh, I don't know. He used to write for them. I don't know how long ago.
So I just mean like, you know.
The article that I read didn't actually say
10
how
years
long
ago, people would have been mad.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you have a different type of approach on something.
So here's something interesting that Nicole just wrote. She's asking about. Well, she's wondering what the Golden Girls. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure if the Golden Girl, like the makeup of the writers on the Golden Girls, but there were certainly they had their share of fans who thought that those young ladies were
the Golden Girls. Y'all thought the Golden Girls was gay with Blanche's hoe butt? She was too much of a hoe to even think of anything. They all had men though. They all had men. Even old mama had a man.
Okay. Well,
she
you can't portray that on Sesame Street, though, right? There's no boyfriends and girlfriends.
Right. That's my point. But the Golden Girls, like I never had the thought process that they were anything other than.
A lot of people did.
Really?
A lot
but
of
they
people
all
thought.
had boyfriends.
I mean, even if they were, whatever, but they were.
But they're old roommates.
There was certainly a sapphic feeling for some people when it came to the Golden Girls.
Look at my interesting. But they all had boyfriends. And Blanche was a hoe. Blanche slept with somebody different every week. I'm like,
look at this.
And then Dorothy had an ex-man. She had an ex-husband that came over every freaking other episode. And then old Sicilian lady, she had a boyfriend too that she would sneak off to and go talk to. And then little goofy girl that always had a story about the farm, she had a man too. That's interesting.
Yeah, there's a bunch of articles, even HuffPo and whatnot, about how the Golden Girls helped shape LGBTQ.
What?
Yeah.
How?
All right. Well, I can read you one. Queer Voices on HuffPost. Here's what the Golden Girls taught us about LGBTQ equality. All right. Hold on one second. I will show you. I'll show you it small while we read it up. So nearly 26 years after it went off the air, the Golden Girls is remembered for one-liners, 80s fashion duds, and of course cheesecake indulgences. I love me some Nika don't like it, but I love me some cheesecake. Anyway, in the first installment of this new Culture Cruise series, Seattle-based writer Matt Baum breaks down two of the show's most forward-thinking episodes, 1988's Scared Straight and 1991's Sister of the Bride. Both episodes featured Clayton Hollingsworth, played by Monte Markham, the gay baby brother of Blanche Rue McClanahan. Clayton not only opened up about his sexuality on the show, but also announced his plans to marry his boyfriend. Okay, so this is talking about a specific episode. Not only did they teach America how to be a friend to gay people, they also introduced millions of viewers to topics like coming out and gay marriage, while also slipping in a message of queer empowerment. Over the course of these two episodes, we have a household of little old ladies helping a man come out, then welcoming him as his husband, and then promising to work on acceptance in the future. Americans who opposed LGBTQ plus rights, he added, would be well served to take a few cues from Dorothy, Blanche, Sophia, and Rose. And that was him basically talking about that episode.
Yeah.
There's another one here that says why the Golden Girls is still the gayest show on television.
Well, it might be gay like in that's gay like in the way we used gay back in the day.
I don't think.
I don't even know why we use gay back in the day.
According to Out magazine.
Child, please.
Yeah.
They all had boyfriends.
Well, again, you bring your experience to what you're watching, right? You're
So
bringing your experience. So
women
gay
have-
men were like, yes, I see it. And then you didn't because you couldn't relate to that,
I
right?
can't relate, but
So the
but
same
how
thing
is
with
gay
Bert and
women-
Ernie, right?
Well, right. But what do 80-year-old women who sleep with men have to do with a gay woman? What are they experiencing?
Okay, so I don't know. All I can tell you is that while you see one thing,
I know. I'm just
other people see
been
other
trying to
things.
figure out.
Maybe they see a bunch of beards. Maybe for the purposes of a show, you can't just have out gay women on this show at that time, right? So maybe going out, but the subtext, if you're bringing your experience as a gay person to watching this show, the subtext is, look at all the beards. All these women that are dating guys to deny
They're,
sexuality.
but they never.
Or dating guys for the public, but in
Right.
private.
But see, if that was the case, then they would have to have a little bit more juicy episodes at the house. At the house, they would
Juicy
have
episodes at the
yeah,
house?
I mean, if they were secretly, undercoverly, gay or whatever, then there needs to be some parties or some actions. Like people would actually need to go into the same room together. Like, I'm gonna go back and watch some episodes, but I'm truly don't see that at all. I don't see it. The only time they ever were in the same room together is when they was in the kitchen talking about the girls. When I was at the ranch, I took the cow and the feed. Be like, what is this story?
All right. This person is writing that intriguing gay references were sprinkled throughout the series, which is no surprise considering that one of its writer/producers
Is
was
gay.
Mark Cherry, the openly gay TV force who went on to do the equally pink Desperate Housewives.
See?
So
if you
you
see
bring-
it and
if
you
you
know
see
it,
it-
then you can spot it. I'm not gay. I don't spot it. I spotted
You're bringing
Blanche
your
going in the back
experience?
with them dudes every
You're experiencing, you're bringing your experiences to the thing,
Yeah.
right?
But I believe that to be true. So like literally, if you are a gay person, you can watch the show and you could be like, aha, or you see things that are from it, then absolutely.
There you go.
Because I can tell you that I don't have any like if I watch the Golden Girls, there's none of my blackness comes out. But me growing up at St. Mary's Hall, I can find some things.
You can find a couple of things,
I
one or
can find
two
a
to
couple
relate
of
to.
things to relate to going to
One
St.
or two
Mary's
to
Hall.
relate to.
Right.
I love it.
But my black side, not at all. Not at all. I would miss it all.
Right. So there you have it. Bert and Ernie, according to, bring what you will. They're not gay. But if you want them to be,
Now I
maybe
gotta
they
find
are in
out
your house.
what are all the 70 and 80 shows that was written by someone gay? That was
Oh
giving
my
you.
gosh. And there's so many things too to look back at. I have friends of mine who will send me like, remember you used to watch this? And I'm like, yeah. Now, as an adult, you pick up on certain things that you don't pick up on when you were
you're
a kid,
thank
right?
you. Yeah.
Like
Like
this one was one that before I moved here, my friend Gus sent me or came to the house and he was like, "Yo, you got to YouTube this," and he was showing me He-Man. Right, so I remember as a kid we watched He-Man and the Masters of the Universe and whatever.
Right.
But his point was that when you look at He-Man, and then you look at what he dressed like when he wasn't He-Man, like before, by the power of Grayskull and all that. Like this dude was in like a pink shirt and.
Yeah, right there.
I'm
Pink
trying
shirt
to
with
show
black
you.
belt.
Yeah. Hold on.
So what was he
Show
trying
you.
to say? E-Man was gay?
Yeah, he was trying to tell me all that stuff, and I'm like, my man, so what? I got a pink shirt. I rock my pink shirt, especially if I was like, rah, and I'm saving the world every day.
Real men wear pink.
men wear
It's
pink
okay.
all day.
It's okay.
Like I am not offended by He-Man's pink shirt, but he's trying to show me that.
Does he ever show you the Disney characters? Because they've gone off. They say the whole Disney thing is nasty, pornographic. They go off on that
People
one.
just try to put stuff
Yeah.
on stuff that doesn't.
But
I mean,
but
you
one
can
day,
keep a thing
but
pure.
one day somebody might come out and say, "So,
Right, but it's
I did sneak
here's
things in there.
Here's the thing, though, right? So it's not an insult. So if He-Man is gay, okay,
Yeah, who doesn't
like
care?
so what, right?
Yeah.
So then but he I love him with everything. My man could be a little phobic, right? And it comes out like so many. Like I have a few friends that are like this. That's like, oh my gosh, like why you have to be aggressive about your
He-Man.
phobia?
Yeah.
Like you don't have to be aggressive about your phobia. Nah, man, I'm a real man. Okay,
All
all right, just calm down. You know, that don't mean that Jesse ain't a real man either. Like,
Right.
calm down.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's
Right.
just, it's a different thing, right? So, one of the big ones that I think this is the thing that set off the trend. So, when I was a little kid, I remember watching television, like all little hip hop kids, watching Beat Street and Breakin' and stuff. These movies about what we're doing outside, right? Like it was amazing. So as an adult, when these movies first came out on DVD, wasn't I an adult already? Yeah, well, when these movies came out on DVD, I bought them like right away. Like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get to watch these. I haven't seen these since I was a kid. And so when I got Breakin', right? And then Breakin' 2, Electric Boogaloo, and it was like real cool stuff. So I lent him my DVD on Breakin'. This kid came back to me. This dude, he's older than I am. He came back to me, yo, Zay! And I was like, what, man? What's going on? Yo, I watched that DVD, man. I was like, oh, you watched Breakin'? Isn't it cool? Like, do you remember, back in the day? He was like, yo! I don't even want to use the slur, right? Yo, them cats is... I was like...
Oh, the F word?
No.
Oh, don't say that
H
word.
H word. Well, it's homosexual, but we
Oh,
only use the first part of it, right?
I was like, the H word.
I don't want to give it the dignity. But dude was like, yo, them dudes is H's. And I was like, what are you talking about?
Breaking Bad people? The Breaking people?
Breaking.
Oh, they are?
And they had a manager who was just out of sight. And I was just like, oh, yeah, I guess, okay. But they're all dancers, right? Like,
Right.
so when you cast this thing, except for Beat Street,
Right.
So Beat Street, they used New York City breakers and like they used real us,
Right.
Right? That's the New York one. In the Hollywood version, they're going to cast at whatever school of dance and try to get these people to come. Hey, do you know how to break dance? Do you know how to? Okay, come and and be a part of our movie, kind of thing, right? So they're casting Hollywood style. In New York, is like they going to the Bronx on some old oh man, I like the way these dudes dance. Y'all want to be in a movie?
Right.
Who are you talking about? Yeah, let's be in a movie, right?
Right.
It's a very different process.
Very different process.
And very different acting
Return.
people, right? Very different return. So you're gonna get even though again these are the Golden Globus movies, right? So nobody's really like gonna win an Oscar for their performance in Breaking a Beat Street, right? But it's also very different types of acting too, right? You're gonna get the dancers that probably that took some acting classes and some stuff, and then you're gonna get the breakers who just very over, you know what I mean? Over hip hop and everything, right? Yo, you say I need to act, man. I'm acting.
I'm over hip hop and everything.
And so then in popular culture, you get all these white folks that think that all
that's
this
what you're
crap
is-
is going to endear them to us. That's terrible. Don't do that. Don't do that, right?
Do that.
Don't do that. But it spawned a generation of people who think that doing that stuff makes them cool, and that's terrible. It was bad acting then, and now it's just horrible when you try to do it.
Right.
Nobody is doing that. Nobody is doing stuff with their hands. And
Well, it's
calm
funny
down.
because you even said the phobias, and that's definitely a real thing. Like that's people.
Yeah.
Get way
And
over
I
the
don't.
top
I don't.
with
I
it.
mean, I get it because they feel threatened. But understand this, guys, and ladies, because I've now met 2 ladies who were like that, very phobic about homosexuality and aggressively phobic, like no, like wanna be angry about it. And the truth of the matter is, homosexual does not mean hypersexual.
Right.
Calm it down.
Calm it down.
Nobody's coming at you because they're gay.
Right.
Right? Nobody's trying to get with you because they're gay.
Right.
I am a heterosexual, and I'm not running out there trying to jump on every girl or whatever because ill. Right? So people are still people are still people.
Yeah.
You know, you as a female, you ain't out there trying to be on every guy and trying to whatever. You still, you know, you're still a person. Right? So in the end, just because they're homosexual doesn't mean that they're also sex fiends. So calm it down.
Want your ass or any
that they want you.
or any of that. I'm just saying.
Exactly. That does not mean they want you.
What's crazy, I think the most, I don't want to call it unattractive, but the most crazy thing to see is when men get sensitive about their woman because there's a gay woman, there's gay women around, and my woman is around all those gay women. And what's your point? Well, there's gay women over there. What's your point? I'm not gay.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy.
What's your point?
Yep.
Just because a woman is gay,
don't mean she got the taste you got. That don't mean she wants.
I'm not gay.
She wants
a
your
gay
girl.
Woman. I want a man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
so that don't put that on me. Don't put that on the straight person.
Right.
Because, and I've seen this a couple of times, and you know there'll be somebody who likes women, a woman who likes women.
Mm-hmm.
So they're at a spot and they hit on somebody's woman, and the woman is very nice. Oh no, I'm good.
Right.
You know, I got a man.
Right.
There's no disrespect. There's no nothing.
As it
and
should
here
be.
comes the man all, so did you like the fact that she hit on you? Well, hold up.
Really?
Show insecurity.
Really? Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, she don't even like women.
Wow.
Why would you be mad at your girl because a girl hit on her?
Right.
I'm going to need you to go sit down.
Yeah.
That's the dumbest crap ever. She's dating you. If she wanted a woman, she'd probably be dating women.
Right.
And not you.
Right.
That makes me so mad.
Right.
Like,
because if you got her, chances are she could have others. That's not you.
That's not you.
Right? And if she wanted them, she would go to them.
And no woman wants to be accused of doing something wrong because a woman hit on me. Oh, well, what was you doing for that woman to hit on me? Being me? Being freaking fabulous? That's what I was doing.
I was just being fabulous. You can't.
The women hit on me. The men hit on me. Grandpa said something, and the kid came and grabbed on my pinky. Hi, Miss Nika. Everybody liked me. So are you gonna just get mad at the gay woman that likes me? Or are we gonna get mad at everybody who likes me? Right? I don't like that.
I think I told you this one time. I used to think that it would be interesting, right, to date a woman. You know, every guys all have their fantasies, right? Oh man, 2 girls and like all porn, right? It's 2 girls. That's like a standard, right? With this stuff, right? It's 2 girls, always 2 girls. Can I just tell you that the first time I ever saw a woman hit on my wife, she was still my girlfriend, and we were with a bunch of what were we doing? We were on South Beach, and we were club hopping that night. And I was club hopping. I was meeting up with another personality person, and her and her people and me and my people, we just got together and we just went club hopping for the evening, right? This young lady was gay, and she had her girlfriend that was there and some other people, and everybody she was with was gay. Cool, let's just go club hopping. And as a man, you're like, okay, well, you know, somewhere, even though you're not consciously thinking about it, somewhere you're thinking, oh my goodness, you know, like, what could happen? You know, I'm young and we're on South Beach and everybody's getting, you know, having fun and some people getting drunk and, you know, whatever. Somewhere in the back of your mind, that possibility kind of exists. We're walking from one club to the other. We're on Ocean Drive, and everybody's just having a good time. Suddenly, my wife is flanked by 2 girls talking about how beautiful she is and how cute she is and how she's got, and then, you know, in your mind, you're like, hey, you realize that, wait a minute, there's something extra that comes with your girl getting hit on by other girls, because it's not just about your fantasy of having sex with, you know, 2 girls, right? There's a connection that happens between women that then, as a man, if you truly care about your person, then you're like, oh, well, wait a minute. Like, I want you to like me. What do you don't like them? Do the physical thing with them, but don't like them. Do you know what I mean? And of course, I was in no danger of that. Ninette is not gay, nor would she entertain that thing. It was like, oh, thank you. It's nice, but I'm not. I'm heterosexual. But still, like for the first time in life, and I was an adult already. For the first time in life, I was, hey. There's something. So now it's funny how the two girls thing lost its luster.
Yeah.
Because
she might not like you.
She might like them a little. She might want to be with them a little more than she wants to be with you.
There's a different connection.
It's a different connection. It's yes, it's sexual. It could be sexual, but it's also, it could be a lot deeper. And you don't know because you can't tell because you're a man.
Right.
You don't have those sensors.
So that was that whole Bobby Brown story
with Whitney and her best friend.
Because I was like, why is her best friend always there?
The time.
And not just always there, but she did little stuff like, that's my plate. I'm going to eat that. You know what I'm saying? Like she got the food before Bobby or whatever the case may be. And I don't know if did they hint at it in the movie?
He alluded to it. He was like, when he kind of confronted her, he said, whatever your relationship is with that person, it ends now. I'm your husband.
Yeah.
So they alluded to it a little bit. Like she had two. She had a husband and a side chick.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, always together.
All
of them at the same time but the husband was not aware.
Even when it wasn't business, because that was her assistant.
Right.
So even when it's not business,
she's still there.
You're still around.
We eating lunch and having a good time and going on trips, and she's still around.
And according to her, according to something I read, I'm not sure if it was according to her, it was always at Whitney's behest. It was like, maybe I should go. No, you need to stay. Or no, stay. Or no,
it was
be
on
here.
Her request.
Yeah, Whitney was always like, no, you stay. All the time.
Yeah.
So it's like.
So were they physical?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Nobody knows. And Bobby's not saying. I mean, he didn't write it in the book, and they show it in the movie whether or not she also had a relationship with this lady.
Right.
I don't know.
It was just that she was there all.
She was there all the time, and according to the movie.
Yeah.
It was what he had to say. It whatever your relationship is with her, it ends. And then when he kicked her out, this is my house, you got to go, took the plate, threw it on the ground or whatever it was, you got to go. Whitney just sat there, and then when they started talking, she was like, get away from me.
Yeah.
Like, I let you do that, but I'm not happy about it.
Right. Right.
And maybe you need to go. It's like, what?
Right.
So who knows,
Who knows? So, but
a little tug of war there with the relationship.
Where the fear comes in with the men, but I'll be like, man, don't be getting mad, especially if your woman is not gay. Like, don't think because a female hits on her or whatever the case, like she's gonna turn gay on Thursday at 6.
There is no turning gay, so
like,
relax, She's
not. So don't do that, because that is the worst feeling to have your man. And I've had many of girls say that too, like, yeah, and he gonna try to get at me like, oh, well, so did you enjoy her hitting on you? Sit your insecurity ass down.
Right.
That's your insecurities talking, and so now you put it on someone else. So now I enjoyed somebody hit. Come on now, stop it.
Man, turn that around. Well, did you? Did you like it when she hit on me?
People hit on you?
Yeah. No, when she hit on me. Then it becomes a different thing. Are you nervous? Be nervous. I was nervous. I was like, excuse me, Sarah.
Yeah.
Come here, Nene. I would.
You are so funny.
I would. Yeah. Oh, Sarah. Did you hit the ground, Sarah? I'm so sorry. Let me help you up. Oops. Get off my girl, Sarah. What's the matter with you?
Oh, hilarious.
Man, there's competition, though. There's competition out there. Sometimes you got to take the competition from the females or the males.
Now that they have all these new new definitions of stuff, people who are not heterosexual or homosexual, they're like just something sexual, which means no, or bisexual. They made up another one, man.
Gender fluid? No, gender fluid is a different thing.
There's more.
Sexually fluid.
Look, I don't know the name of it. Somebody said it to me, and they said, "Yes, I'm such and such," and I just
there's pansexual.
There's okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
basically, it was that they don't have a preference, right? You would think it was bisexual, right? But it's not. Oh my God, it's so confusing. Glow, where are you?
Well,
You know the
okay, so I will tell you
definition.
this, that Facebook, as we know, has like 50, and this is where I'm like, huh? Because I'm looking it up right now because I want to know what they are. 51 gender options.
51?
51.
Oh, open that.
We gotta open.
Look
it.
at me, open it.
Open
Pansexual. Pansexual.
Yeah, I said pansexual.
You said pansexual. Okay.
Yeah.
So that means that it could be a woman, it could be a man, it could be, what is the other choices? That's what I thought.
Well,
bisexual.
so remember, gender identities and sexual preference are different, right?
Okay, so that's what it is. So that means you could be with a man, a woman, a transgender. What? What's the?
So hold on. So gender is different than sexuality, right?
know.
So pansexual is probably like no preference as long as I have a connection to the person,
Yes,
right?
pretty much.
So I don't have a preference. I just want to.
Yeah,
Right?
I'm just with whoever.
I'm just with whoever, and whatever
Right.
gender and that's where.
And whatever
So we
gender
ain't we're
you're
not
in.
we're not doing 51 sexual preferences. I'm just gonna say pan, whatever you are. If I like it, I'm in.
Then I'm in.
You know,
And
so
could
that's
be,
pan.
You could be
I believe.
whatever. You could be whatever. Bisexual, trisexual, something sexual.
What as far as
Don't
the
know.
gender
Look at me,
type?
I don't know. Just kidding.
Oh my gosh, look at all these. Okay,
I don't
so
know.
there's agender,
Okay.
and androgyne or androgynous, bigender, cis.
Sis.
All of these terms capture a person that's not trans or does not have a gender diverse identity or presentation. Cis female, see also cis woman, cisgender, female, cisgender woman. A female who identifies as a woman and has a feminine gender identity.
So is that just a woman?
Feels like it. Cis male is a male who identifies as a man and has a masculine gender identity.
Is that a penis? I'm just saying.
So would I be cis male?
Would you be?
Because I identify as a man
and you have man parts.
and have a masculine. Yeah, maybe.
So you're a cis male.
I guess cisgender, a person who has a gender identity commonly associated with their biological sex. So yes, we are cis, right?
Okay.
So our gender identity is the sex that we were born in.
Gotcha.
So just regular, I guess, right?
All right.
Or what it's normally been. So female to male, a trans person who was assigned female sex and now lives as a man.
Okay.
Gender fluid, someone whose
friend
gender
like that.
identity and presentation are not confined to only one gender category. Sometimes I wear pants, sometimes I wear a skirt. You don't know. Sometimes I put on a dress, sometimes I put on a suit.
So Will Smith's
That's
son,
gender fluid.
I'm on Will Smith's son. He
Not
just did
saying
ad-
nothing.
He just said he just did ads and dresses. It's not like he wears dresses all the time.
Gender nonconforming, someone who looks and or behaves in ways that don't conform to or are typical of society's expectations of how a person of that gender should look and behave. So nonconforming, I'll do whatever I want, and its sexuality has nothing to do with it. If I want to wear a suit but throw on some eyeliner, I'll do it because I want to. I'm not conforming to your societal norms, right?
Okay.
And there's a whole lot more, and I'm not going to read, but there's
51?
51 of these.
I'm like, y'all just making up stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Why does it have to be 51? Why do you have to be defined all the way to that? Like I like men, but on the third Thursday, I prefer. That makes you a cis female transforming. Like, what's going on?
I don't know.
I'm not trying to be insensitive to anybody's definition or
Right.
whatever, but I just don't feel like we need 51 different definitions of things.
Oh my gosh. There's one called Two-Spirit. This term likely originated with the Zuni tribe of North America through two-spirit persons having been documented in numerous tribes. Native Americans who have both masculine and feminine characteristics and presentations have distinct roles in their tribes, and they are seen as a third gender. Recently, Germany and Nepal adopted a third gender option for citizens to select.
How many citizens are there?
Two-Spirit.
This is the ones that have both genital parts.
I don't know. Maybe it's just like a guy that's kind of feminine, or a young lady that's actually very masculine. Maybe, I don't know. Two-spirit.
Look at me.
Anyways,
look at me. I don't even know why I asked you to look him up. I'm more confused now.
oh
Before
my
we
gosh,
looked him up,
very
after.
interesting stuff.
Some things you'd be like, I'm glad I'm old. You know what
Glow
I'm saying?
put it up. She was like, I identify as a heterosexual cis woman. Okay. So that would be the...
I identify as
what?
a heterosexual cis woman. Why you gotta have cis?
Well, because that is the definition. That in the 51, this is the one
we
that...
are that.
We are that.
So I would be that as well. I
The traditional...
as a heterosexual cis woman.
Which is the tradition... That's the title for the traditional
woman.
Yeah. The traditionally thought...
Because I grab booties, do I have to add something else to that? Do I be a heterosexual cis woman who grabs ass? Or
heterosexual, cis woman
gluteus maximus
grabber. I don't know. I can't think of that.
But I like it.
It's too much.
Gluteal something.
Gluteal.
Yeah. I'll come up with it tomorrow.
Radial embracer. Encompasser. We could do that. Real quick, so we talked so much about the Emmys yesterday.
Yes, we did.
The ratings came out for the Emmys, and it turns out that this year's Emmys was the lowest rated Emmy broadcast to date.
Bump, bump, bump. Boo.
Yeah. It has been, the ratings on most award shows have actually been going down and
because
down and
people
down
don't
over the
wanna watch
years.
them anymore.
But some people are actually putting the blame, if you will, on the fact that they moved it to a Monday when it's usually a Sunday, and it went up against Monday Night Football
I didn't
as
see
well.
not one game on Monday Night Football though, but I guess it was on the NFL channel or something,
Or
maybe
ESPN or what have you. Yeah.
some channel I
So
don't get.
you're losing millions of people that
Yeah.
would even consider watching your thing if football is on because they prefer that, right?
Yeah, the
So-
only reason why I watched it is because I couldn't get the football game because I wouldn't have watched
There
it.
you go.
Yeah.
So that was 11% down from last year, unfortunately. Yeah. So even though it was fun, even though it was good, it was still down 11% from last year.
I couldn't even compare it because I literally never watched these shows, so I can't even compare and say, "Oh, it was better than last year," or
Well, they're
it's
all
one of the best. But
the viewership for all award shows has been steadily declining over the years.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
because at
I
some
don't know how
point,
you're gonna bring them
like,
back, but
I mean, the BET Awards at some point just got like, did they even have a producer for that? Like, there was some
Yeah.
shows that were. No, but
Oh,
I'm saying,
you're like-
it got to a point where it was like,
maybe
what?
maybe they just put the people in a room and said, "Give out these awards to each other."
and,
What is
and,
happening?
and sing. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like, here's a mic for everybody. Now go.
Right.
Like, that's sometimes how the BET Awards were seeming for a while. You know, then you got the Oscars that everybody said was only gave it to white folks, so other people didn't want to watch it. And there's just so many things. And then I think people don't want to watch somebody else get an award.
Well, it wouldn't be so. I guess it wouldn't be so bad if it didn't feel so. Sometimes feel so just extra congratulatory. Like you're. I don't know. I mean, yes, it's an award show, so the idea of it is to congratulate, is to say you did a great job. Your performance in this field was above and beyond all else. Here's your award. And anybody who gets an award would love to do it in public. They want people to see that I got an award and that it's great.
The one award's coming up soon.
The one award's coming up soon, right?
Yes.
But what would even the turnout be for that if it was 3 hours?
Right.
And half of the awards are people you've never heard of, which is okay, you know, because they're still integral to what you do. So one of the things that award shows have been actually fighting is trying to figure out which awards to give away
on TV
versus not, right? Who do we give? Because the Emmys is really kind of like Emmy weekend, right?
Yeah.
So there's a couple of
different award
ceremonies.
scenarios,
There's different ceremonies, and like so you won't see like best graphic animation in a series.
Most of the back of the house stuff, they only do the main producer, like the executive producers and stuff on TV.
No, not even anymore. So what they're doing is they give the show or the movie the award, and then the executive producer comes up and accepts the award,
accepts it. That's
right,
what he
with
did
the
last
cast
time.
or whatever.
Yeah, that's what
that's
they did
how they
last-
do it now. So
Yeah.
it's not like best producer, best, definitely best director. They get that, but producers not necessarily. Certainly no. I mean, unless you're watching the Oscars, you get an effects or costuming.
And that's what I was
stuff
thinking.
like
In
that.
Oscars, it breaks it down a lot more. Like, because you got the music in the movies, you've got
Right.
the costume, the makeup, and those we're not watching on television.
No,
we're just watching.
Well, you get costumes. You get best costumes. You get on the actual show,
Mm-hmm.
but like best sound mixing, best directing,
Right.
like that
Right.
is gonna happen at the Oscar award ceremony the night before. Like
Yeah.
there's another one for tech
for tech, right?
now.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Like there's a tech one now.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, okay.
But it's
I
important
mean it's because
that's what makes it pop.
Right.
Without them, you don't have nothing. So
Right.
you need to recognize them in some type of way.
Right,
And the
right.
reason why they don't do it is because we don't know them people. Like,
Right,
and
so
Bobby,
people won't watch.
woo, woo, woo,
People
and
won't
nobody's
watch.
gonna watch that because
and
I don't know
television is
Bobby.
all about eyeballs.
Yeah.
And if nobody's gonna watch, and if
all
it's too
about
long and boring,
celebrities.
even though the Emmys still did get, I think it was 10 million viewers, which is nothing to sneeze at. They still
Right.
10 million people were watching the Emmys.
Right.
But in the end, that's still 11% less than last year, which
Isn't that
is
crazy
less
though?
than a year
Instead
before.
of saying
and
10
less
million
than-
people watched this the other night, they say down by 12%.
Yeah,
Media.
right, right.
Always coming out the negative. They
Because
always putting the negative out there.
the trend is the story, right? The fact that it's the viewership is declining, not that you got 10 million people to watch.
Right.
Even though everybody was talking about it, including us, the next day, right? Everybody was talking about it. It's an important event, and cool things happen there. But on the day, nobody,
Just to give you some great media promotion, it was down by 11%.
down by 11%. And maybe the coverage could be part of the reason. Oh, I don't need to watch it. I'll find out all the highlights tomorrow. I'm not going to spend 3
literally,
hours watching this
I
thing.
think that, no, you're right. I think that just like with restaurants declining and things of that, and why? Because of Uber Eats and because of delivery and because of all of that. I think it's the same thing with that because people can, literally somebody said, didn't need to buy Beyonce tickets, just saw the whole concert on Snapchat. You know, didn't need to watch this show, just saw the whole thing on social media because there's so many people putting the show up and, oh, I'm at the comedy show. You know, I think half of it is to show people that I'm at this show. Sometimes it's, oh, people will ask you go live or whatever. But, man, people saving money at home while you done spend all your money because you don't want to put it live.
But there's also there's I mean, you and I both know there's something to be said about the experience of being in a place.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I
There's
mean?
nothing
Like,
more. You can't.
If you can allow yourself to feel completely fulfilled by watching some crappy video on Snapchat,
While somebody's yelling in the background and jumping up and down.
enjoy it. That means that it won't be sold out when
But
I
I think
want to go.
that's one of the things that, like you say, there's lower viewers because I know people that basically play-by-play the Emmy Awards.
Yeah.
On social media.
Yeah, for
From
sure.
every person that won, that came up there, or whatever.
Yep.
So literally, if I didn't feel like it, I could have just gone to their timeline
Right.
and known exactly what the heck was going on.
Yep.
So that's one less viewer, you know. So these side reporters are hurting.
And also, especially if you're doing it for 3 hours, like it can be a 2-hour thing, right? Like a movie, right? It can be a 2-hour thing. You're in, you're out, and then people will probably be a little more tolerant of it.
They
But
said
sometimes these things are 3 hours and then go 3.5, 3:45. They go over because they're
over.
live,
and people are proposing and stuff. So you have.
Oh, don't get it, my man. It took him
Because
2.5 minutes to do his whole thing. Like, let's not out of a
They-
3-hour thing.
They did.
He can propose.
They did a lot of history of the Emmy Awards throughout the night.
Yeah.
And so they said that the very first Emmy Award took 10 minutes
Look at that.
because all they did was read the awards.
That's it. We need
32
we
people.
Need 18
winner,
monologues
winner,
and
winner,
right.
winner. And
All
so
these
they said
performances.
that they needed to be longer. So that's where they came up with the monologues to go in between each award. So they could stretch it out so they could actually keep it on television
Yeah,
for an
but
amount of time.
they also had to have extended all the categories. Like,
Oh, well, we know
they
that.
also had
from when
to
it,
have,
from when they
right?
started at the beginning to
Right,
now. We
right,
know
right.
that because I mean, there's categories of stuff that don't even exist now, live shows
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true.
and all that other stuff.
Yep,
You know,
yep.
so
they
there's
were all live shows when this all started.
there was no recording. This is go. You know what I'm
Best
saying?
live.
So, yeah. So they probably
Aren't we all
they
that?
probably only had
Okay.
like 15 or 12. You know, maybe
Yeah,
15
yeah.
categories. 10 categories.
10 awards to give away.
Said,
Here Lucy.
Yep.
Here, here
Took
Jackie
them
Gleason.
10 minutes
Here,
and
yeah.
over.
Yeah.
So they were like, we gotta do something.
While you're up here, you also won this one and this one and this one.
Thanks.
Everybody applaud. Okay, go. Come on.
Yeah.
I got a lunch.
Yeah.
Bananas. Oh, we got to sit down and eat.
I love it.
Anyway, so yeah, now you can continue your day sadder but wiser.
Ain't got good. Ain't it good?
Oh, my
Don't
gosh.
forget that today is Wednesday, so that means the Observer came out.
There it is.
Beto is everywhere, people. Beto
He
is
is.
everywhere. So
And he'll be here debating Ted Cruz
yes,
on October 16th
yes,
here in San Antonio.
yes.
Try to find out. Get your tickets if you want to watch
And
and
go
maybe
and
ask
see
a
what's
question. Hey, Beto.
What you think about this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who does your hair?
So
don't know.
I literally was one of our neighbors over here. He's often watching the show and following and doing all that stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
he has the app downloaded. So he got the reminder that said early voting ends
There you go.
October 3rd, and so he went and made sure that he was registered. I'm sorry, voter registration ends October 3rd. Early voting starts October 22nd. But so he went. He has not voted in over 20 years.
Look at that.
And he said he got it this morning, and he was like, I'm going to register to vote.
Yeah.
So he registered to vote, and I said, I'm proud of you. Good job. You know, now you got to go make sure you go to the polls because
Right.
the statistics say that the Democratic side, and if we're going to go Democratic Republic, and just to give you stats, that they register twice as many more people than the Republican side does every year. But when the voting comes around,
Right.
they don't all vote.
Right.
So we have great at getting people registered and getting it going, but when it's actually getting to the polls, that's when we need to have another surge of energy
Right.
to get everybody out there.
Right.
Of course, I'm not.
Everybody loses.
Yeah.
Everybody. Whew, man, that registration was.
It's crazy.
Whew.
Now I'm big on not saying I will never suggest you go in there and hit Democrat all the way down. I'm big on voting for people, not parties.
Right.
So please, do some research of the judges, of all the different people that are running. So because it's important,
Yep.
and you need to know the policies and how they kind of work and move. So all of that's happening, and lots of great stuff in the Observer. You've got a District 20 updates. You've got the update with the chamber, the Black Chamber that
Yes,
they had last
yes.
week. So there's an update in there on
Okay.
that. There is Texas Capitol update with State Rep Barbara Hawkins.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then of course we've got our awesome The One Media page that has all of our fantastic advertisers
There it is.
and stuff that's going on. So make sure you grab that. We will be tomorrow. We will be at Tanks for Thursday night football. No Sunday, Thursday.
Thursday.
And I can definitely say I'm happy about that. I like my Sundays.
Okay.
You know, just I get up, whether it's church, whether it's football, whether it's sleep till ever.
Yeah, but you already got your Sunday routine and
Yeah, I really love my Sundays. So Thursday night football is where it is. We will be doing the Mandate Live at 5 o'clock at Tanks. Then after that, we have some games and stuff we're doing. At 7 o'clock, they go live again for the game, during the game. We're going to have some games to play out there, some trivia, some Battle of the Sexes.
yes.
Do the men know more, or do the ladies know more?
Yeah, you had it right.
About the
The
game.
men know more,
Or
do the fellas know more. We will find
We're
out.
the winner. So we have some great giveaways and all that kind of good stuff. So Thursday inside of Tanks. Fam Club, join that. Find out more information about that because the event center is about to open and we'll start having events there. And then, of course, we're going on a cruise. July 22nd to the 27th. Yes, July 22nd through the 27th. in 2019.
You got almost a year to make it happen for yourself. Don't say that we just dropped it on you
All
last
right.
minute.
So October 1st is the day that you would put your $25 deposit down. That's it. And then every first you pay $110 for your ticket. And then by the time May comes, it'll all be paid. And on July, we meet in Galveston and go to some awesome places. It's a performance cruise, so the experience will be performing. We'll be out there hosting stuff. We'll have some comedians out there. So what I like about the performance cruise, other people do what we're doing. So you're performing for lots of folks, not just the people that come from us. You're literally the entertainment on the ship.
Right.
So good. It's cool stuff. It's
and
really
great
cool
exposure
stuff. Yeah,
and
great
lot of fun to different people from all around the world.
Yeah, from all around the world. So that's happening, and we are. If you're interested, inbox, hit us up, and I will give you our travel agent. We have a travel agent who is taking all of the reservations, and I's do nothing, he's do nothing. We just here. We here cute.
We let you know.
To call.
And then our official one travel agent.
And then she's gonna do the whole $25. Get your card in there, and then like I said, every first of the month it comes off, and before you know it, we are on our way to some beautiful islands on a beautiful big ship.
All right, Stephanie, calm down. Calm down.
A honeymoon discount. Are you getting married?
Apparently.
Hey.
Apparently, Stephanie's getting married. She
You
want a
know how to
honeymoon
sing?
discount.
You better start to a band.
Then you won't need a discount, right?
Then you can perform, Steph.
You announce a thing, and right away people are asking for discounts.
Stephanie,
what is happening?
Grab $50, get you and your man a reserved seat, and I'm telling you, we got payment plans, and we're going to get you there.
It's going to be amazing.
If I can do it, you can do it. Trust.
Absolutely.
I'm going on a vacation. I'm so very excited. We're going to Vegas in October,
awesome.
and I saved my money to go because I haven't been on a vacation in literally like 10 years. So
it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. Let's hit it.
all right, dear Lord, thank you so very much for waking us up for another day and giving us another opportunity to uplift the kingdom. Keep us safe, Lord, today from people that want to hurt us or want to take us off of our path or want to bring us down in some type of way. Protect us from those folks, and keep our spirits strong, and knowing that we can get things done, because all things can get done through you. Give us traveling grace today, and of course, let's keep joy in our hearts. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen, amen, and amen.
Amen, amen, amen. All right, world, we love you guys. Yes, July 13th, 2019, apparently, Stephanie is...
2019.
That's July.
July 22nd to the 27th.
But she's saying July 13th, I guess she's getting married. So congratulations to you and your beau.
Yes, so it
Very
would be a
nice.
perfect honeymoon.
It would be a perfect honeymoon. Save your
Just saying.
pennies. All right, world, we love you guys with everything. We're going to see you guys right here tomorrow, same time, same channel. It is The One. Keep it sexy, keep it clean, and of course, keep it classy.
classy.
Ah, yeah. Zay Nika. Mwah. Kissy face.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that.